In 1492, after Christopher Columbus discovered the New World, the Mayans began to appear in this world. After Columbus arrived in the New World, he quickly returned the news to Spain within a few months. He also brought back 4 Indians and a pile of gold to prove that he had arrived in the New World. Moreover, to convince the Spanish royal family to support him and continue his voyage to the New World in the future, he also specifically mentioned a Mayan legend, which is what I will talk about today. That is the ideal, the City of Gold. The Mayans said that all the buildings in the City of Gold were decorated with gold, and the people there wore gold from head to toe, because in the legend, that place is the mother vein of gold of the whole earth, and all the gold comes from there. And Columbus also quoted Pichon in the Bible. So Pichon must be in the New World, he said. So this Pichon is in the Bible and is one of the 4 rivers flowing from Eden. According to legend, all the gems and gold in the world flow out of this river, and it happens that these Spanish royal families are solid supporters of the Bible. So if it is true that the legendary City of Gold can be found, isn't Spain the wealthiest country in the world? Moreover, another reason is more exciting to the royal family than gold. That is, if they found the legendary Pichon, wouldn't that be finding the Garden of Eden? Will it be possible to live forever after finding the Garden of Eden? Therefore, the Spanish royal family was very generous in supporting Columbus's second voyage mission. The Spanish first came to Hispaniola, which is now the Dominican Republic. Over the next 20 years, they shipped back nearly 200,000 gold coins, only just on that island. Later, after the gold was plundered, they came to the Yucatan Peninsula. Here, they encountered very tenacious resistance from the locals. Although it is said that these Mayans would make gold and silver jewelry at that time and were very knowledgeable in astronomy, it is strange that their life and work were still in the Stone Age at this time. In other words, the Mayans only had weapons made of obsidian. Therefore, although they were numerous, both sides still suffered heavy casualties in front of the Spaniards' guns and artillery. And most importantly, the Spaniards found that there was no gold at all here. However, they learned through the locals that the Aztecs in the north were the most gold-rich areas. So, in 1519, a man named Hernan Cortez headed toward the Aztecs with a convoy of 11 ships and more than 600 people. Unexpectedly, when they came to the Aztecs, not only did they not encounter the same stubborn resistance as they did in other places before, but even the Aztec emperor had prepared a lot of gifts for them in advance and also treated them like gods. Just as the Mayans knew the Spaniards would come, they had already prepared precious gifts. According to the memories of those who had seen these gifts at the time, it was said that, first of all, there was a solid gold disc inscribed with the Mayan calendar, like the sun, and the diameter of the disc was about 2 meters, and there were carriage wheels. It was so big, and not only was the disc huge, it was as thick as 4 gold coins. The Aztecs also prepared a larger, moon-like silver disc. However, what people didn't expect was that after the group of Spaniards transported such a precious item back to Spain, they directly melted it into gold bars. Fortunately, there was another thing at the time, which we can still see at the Welt Museum Mayan, the feather headdress. Don't underestimate it. It's not that only gold is valuable. However, this thing is more valuable than gold. It is made from the tail hair of the resplendent quetzal. The resplendent quetzal is the most phoenix-like bird on Earth and is very rare. Now, it is the national animal of Guatemala, an endangered animal, and this feather is only available to breed male quetzal. Therefore, collecting so many feathers to make such a helmet is very difficult. Moreover, this helmet is not only made of feathers, but also leather, gold, gilded bronze, and so on. So here it is extraordinary. Why did the Aztec emperor prepare these gifts in advance for these invading Spaniards? In fact, these gifts are not random, because these are the gifts that the Aztec emperors specially picked for their gods. About the big golden disc of the wheel, it describes the Quetzalcoatl cycle every 52 years. He was forced to leave the Aztecs because in Mayan mythology, Quetzalcoatl was defeated by the god of war. However, Quetzalcoatl is not gone forever, but returns every 52 years. The coincidence is here. The year 1519, when the Spanish invaded the Aztecs, was precisely the year Quetzalcoatl was supposed to return every 52 years. And crucially, the Indians were all beardless. However, according to legend, Quetzalcoatl appeared as a white man with a beard. So the Spaniards who invaded the Aztecs happened to be fair-skinned and bearded, and it came at a time when Quetzalcoatl returned every 52 years. So the Aztec emperor was pleased to see them. God finally appeared, and their Quetzalcoatl eventually returned. So instead of resisting these Spaniards, they exaggerated to what extent? At that time, except for Emperor Moctezuma wearing sandals, all other nobles came out barefoot to greet these Spaniards. However, how did they know they were bringing disaster upon themselves? After the Spaniards visited their royal palace, they found this place incredible. There is gold all over the place, and even the tableware is made of pure gold. After a bit of thought, the Spaniards came up with a solution, kidnapped Emperor Moctezuma and locked him in the Spanish territory, and told the nobles of Aztecs to hurry up and collect gold. These people filled the entire cabin with gold, but even so, the Spaniards still killed the Aztec emperor in the end. However, just when the Spaniards thought that they had finally made a fortune and that they would not be able to enjoy the wealth for the rest of their lives, they didn't expect that the French would rob their gold treasure ship on the way, and a particular war broke out between the two countries. We won't say much about the war here, so instead, let's go back to the legend of the City of Gold. The Spaniards later discovered that the Aztec gold was getting less and less, and it was not the City of Gold in the legend nor the Pishin in the Bible. So where is the legendary City of Gold? At this time, an even more enticing legend spread worldwide, Eldora, which means gilded or golden. The legend goes that there is a golden continent, a country full of gold and gems. Every day their emperor stripped naked, smeared himself with oil paint, and dusted himself with gold dust so that he became golden and looked like a shining sun. Then, he would come to the center of the lake to offer sacrifices to the gods and wash away the gold dust that he had sprinkled in the morning in the lake every night. It is conceivable how much gold will be spent to sprinkle this gold dust in this life. What is even more incredible is that in addition to the emperor, many people come to participate in the emperor's sacrifice in an endless stream, bringing all kinds of gold crafts that they have prepared for the gods. Then, when the emperor offered sacrifices, they would throw the gold into the lake. Therefore, over time, there is now unlimited gold in this lake. As a result, more and more people continue to explore the Americas. They are eager to drain all the lakes in the Americas to see if there is countless gold at the bottom of the lake. Until 1530, a team of 200 people went to Peru. The expedition did not disappoint them, and when they entered the capital, Cusco, whether in the shrine or the palace, it was genuinely unlimited gold. According to the memories of the Spaniards present at the time, there were 3 rooms in the palace, all of which were made of gold furniture, and 5 were made of silver. The most incredible is a storage room filled with 100,000 gold nuggets, each of which weighs almost 5 pounds, or about 2.2 kilograms. In addition, the golden throne and the matching stool for the emperor to rest are about 110 kilograms. In their temple of the sun god, their garden is even more different. All the trees, bushes, flowers, and birds, including the fountains, are all fake. They are all made of gold. This is not over. The most incredible thing is that there is a cornfield in the courtyard of the temple of the sun god. Of course, this cornfield is even more complicated. Their leaves, including corn stalks, are made of silver. Yes, and the ears of corn are made of pure gold, and this cornfield is 91 meters wide and 182 meters long, an area larger than 2 complete football fields. So the question is, why did they plant such a large field of corn in the sun god's temple? Is there any relationship between corn and the sun god? Does this cornfield have any meaning? Later, the Spanish approached the same way. They arrested the emperor and told the nobles that they should fill a room 6.7 meters long and 5.5 meters wide with gold so that their emperor would be released. But the Spaniards didn't expect the room was filled with gold items soon. The Spaniards saw that the room was filled so quickly. That's not good. This time the price was higher. The Spaniards said you can't use gold objects, but you must fill the room with solid gold bricks so their emperor would be released. Of course, the ending remains the same. After the Spaniards got the gold, the emperor was also killed. According to statistics, the Spaniards plundered 180,000 kilograms of gold and 680,000 kilograms of silver in 1 year, just in Peru. This is just annual data, and this looting has been going on for many years. The Aztecs and the Incas in Peru believed that gold was the gift of the gods, the tears of the gods, and even the feces of the gods, which means that gold was the property of the gods. They don't trade in gold at all. That is, they don't treat gold as a commodity, and they don't treat it as money. They just sacrifice it to the gods. So why are these white people so crazy about this gold? Although the Spaniards robbed a lot of gold, they found that Peru's gold was getting less and less. People are never satisfied. People have been thinking about the ideal city of gold in their hearts. Where is it? If the mother vein of Earth's gold can be found, that is people's ultimate dream. So they kept interrogating the locals. In the end, they discovered that whether it was the Aztecs or the Incas in Peru, they basically collected the golden sand in the rivers, and the gold nuggets were picked up outside and then gave the gold to the emperor or god. Sacrifices and other ruling classes then let them sacrifice this gold to their gods. There is a problem here. As I said just now, the Spaniards plunder at least 180,000 kilograms of gold and 680,000 kilograms of silver from Peru a year. So how could these people just pick up the gold on the ground or the golden sand in the river to collect so much gold? These Spaniards and metallurgical experts discovered some suspected prehistoric gold mine sites in Mexico. So they thought, are these locales lying to them? They don't just pick up gold from the ground. So did they learn to mine early? However, this doesn't make sense because the Aztecs didn't know what iron was. They usually used tools made of obsidian. Later, it was the Spaniards who taught them how to use metal tools. So how could it be possible to mine a mine with a stone tool? It is impossible. Later, under the questioning of the Spaniards, the Aztecs told them that their gold and silver processing skills originated from their ancestor Toltec. Toltecs lived in the highlands of central Mexico in the centuries BC, and the Aztecs did not appear until more than 1,000 years after Toltec. Strangely enough, the later Aztecs would only pick up gold on the ground. These earlier Toltecs not only taught the Aztecs how to make gold and silver handicrafts, but they also knew how to find mines for precious gems like a sapphire long ago, and even how to find gold and silver in metal mines. In other words, these earlier Toltecs can know where the mother veins of gold in the whole world are. So the Spaniards asked, how did these earlier Toltecs know the secrets of the mine? The Aztecs told them the answer without hesitation. Quetzalcoatl told them. The Spaniards were stunned when they heard it. But if Quetzalcoatl told them, doesn't that mean that the ideal city of gold seems never to find the answer?